Hello, welcome to another edition of Bay Area CIL's Community Focus. My name is Catherine Jones and I'm the Executive Director of Bay Area CIL, and today I have the pleasure of having Deborah Still join us. She is an independent living specialist at Bay Area CIL. So, Dee, what do you do as an independent living specialist and what got you involved with Bay Area Center for Independent Living?
As an independent living specialist, I help persons with disabilities get their independence back. And I got involved with the agency through one of our benefits counselors, and she told me about what they were doing, and it's always been my passion to be able to help folks. That's what I do, and I love it. So it's been wonderful to be a part of the agency.
Mm-hmm. And you've made mention of a benefits counselor. What do benefits counselors do?
Benefits counselors work with individuals who receive SSDI, and the misconception is that they can't work because they're on disability, and that is not true. They can work and still receive their benefits, and our benefits counselors work with them to explain how work impacts benefits.
Wonderful. So you've made mention of independent living philosophy,
Yes.
and that's the focus of today's episode.
Yes.
What is the independent living philosophy?
The independent living philosophy is a movement of persons with disabilities who work for self-determination, equal opportunities, and self-respect to allow choice, direction, and control in their everyday lives, which goes into independent living. Mm-hmm. Independent living means that a person with a disability have the same choices and control in their everyday lives as our non-disabled folks do and seem to take for granted at times. So an individual with disability wants to be able to take that transportation or go to the school with their neighbors or be able to work in jobs that are in line with their education and interests, and maybe even start a family of their own one day. And as a person with a disability, you are the best expert as far as what your needs are. So we talk to you about that, and we want you to set goals that you wish to achieve in order to gain your independence. Mm-hmm. And, we want you to speak for yourself and tell us what it is you want, because if you are silent about everything, then others are going to step in and do it for you. And that's not what what independence is about. Mm-hmm. It's about you working for you.
Mm-hmm. And so if somebody wants to remain independent in their home, do you go out to their homes to visit them and do an assessment as to see what their needs are?
I do, or they can come into our office. For example, if they need a ramp, then I do go out and visit because I want to see where the ramp is needed. Mm-hmm. And make measurements so that we can determine the size of the ramp. And we go over the basic information as far as income. You do need to be income eligible for us to be able to fund the materials. And we usually go at poverty level or below. And there are certain circumstances that we allow for, such as, maybe they have outstanding medical bills. Mm-hmm. And if that be the case, then we do go ahead and override that a little bit.
And to provide them some form of assistance.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. I see that you've brought some tools with you. Can you share some of them with us and let us know how these instruments help people live independently?
Absolutely.
All right.
Little things at that. Mm-hmm. For instance, this is just a regular cup. And, someone who has mobility issues in their hands and can't grip very well, maybe due to arthritis. This little gadget, instead of a handle or the grip, you can just reach right through this little slot and be able to drink.
It's amazing, something as simple as that.
Yes.
And how much that can improve the quality of one's life.
It absolutely can, yes.
And what else do you have?
These are Fillet Gloves. Mm-hmm. And what these are used for is for someone who wants to prepare their food. Mm-hmm. Okay, who doesn't like working in the kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. So if you put this glove on and you're holding the item that you're preparing with maybe a side that's not very much mobility, mm-hmm. then you can use your knife to cut. and it's not going to cut you. You're not going to bleed from preparing your food.
Sure.
This is going to take care of that. And the difference between the two is that actually this one is what we have in our technology lab, and it's usually about $26. It's made out of the same material. This one is actually a fishing glove, which can be purchased at Walmart, a sporting goods store, Gander Mountain, and it usually runs about $7, and it serves the same purpose as this one.
Well, that looks like you're looking out for the consumer and trying to find what can meet their needs and be most cost efficient
Absolutely.
to do so also.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see, what else do you have? Yeah, what is that?
This is a pill reminder. You slide it down like that, and you put your medication in this little box, push it up, or actually set your timer when it's time for you to take your medication. You can store it anywhere, your purse, your pocket, and when it's time for you to take your medication, the alarm is going to go off to alert you that it's time to take your medication. Neat little gadget.
Yeah, I'm sure many can benefit from
Oh,
that
absolutely.
device.
I think we all forget to take our medication at times.
Yes, absolutely.
This is called a Ruby, and the Ruby is a magnifier. I worked with a consumer who loved to read books, and her daughter sent her books all the time, and she was so upset because she couldn't read them. So she came in and she toured our AT lab, and she trialed this device, and she was able to read the print, so she wanted to take it out for a week to see how it would work for her. And she absolutely loved it. And she was income eligible, so we helped fund this item so that she could read her books, and she couldn't have been more happier.
That's wonderful.
Yes, it was wonderful to see. And last but not least, let me go back a second.
Okay, sure.
I want to mention one other thing. If you have a smartphone, there are now apps available that will do the same thing as this Ruby.
So if you come into the Assistive Technology Lab, we're able to show you what apps are available?
Absolutely, and we can help you put them on your phone. We can show you how to use it. And it's neat because usually your smartphone is probably the same screen size or larger, so it's going to serve the same purpose without this cost.
Wonderful.
Because your apps are free. Or should I say some apps are free.
Some apps are free.
And this is the key turner. Is what this does. You can place a house key and a car key in here. And for someone who has difficulty making that turn with the key, you can grab a hold of this, put your key in, turn it. You know, so it's really a nice little device, because if you can't use your keys, you know, especially when you need to use your car to go to a doctor appointment or go shopping, you can't go nowhere. So this is a really neat device to be able to help you gain that mobility.
And you wouldn't think that fine motor skill, just being able to turn a key, could prevent someone
Right.
from being able to live independently.
Exactly.
Be able to go in and out of their home and to be able to operate their vehicle.
Exactly.
And what does a device like that cost?
It's under $10.
Under $10.
Yes, it's
Okay,
under
so something
$10.
that's very reasonable, but that can have a huge impact on somebody's quality of life.
Absolutely. And I also want to take mention too that this is one of our older ones. They have newer ones out that will hold 5 keys, and there's actually a button on top that you can press that identifies the key, and it slides out for you. So technology, we're getting it. It's great.
Dee, can you share an example of changing the quality of someone's life through one of these assistive technology devices?
Yes, I'd like to talk about the Pocket Talker. And the Pocket Talker is like a little box that will fit in your pocket. It has a microphone attached to the end, and you can either wear earplugs or an earphone. And it amplifies the voices in the room so that the person with the hearing impairment can hear the conversation. And I had an individual, actually a couple, that come in to see me needing assistance to purchase hearing aids for her husband. And you could tell that there was stress between the two. You know, it's difficult when you're not able to hear someone, and then you know, a person who is able to hear kind of gets a little frustrated because like, what, huh?
And it must feel quite isolating to the individual who can't hear, that they can't be engaged in daily activities and conversation.
Absolutely. And I tell you, this gentleman, he could not hear anything we were saying. And I went and located one of our staff who assists in the AT lab. And I'm like, hey, do you have a pocket talker? And she comes back with a pocket talker, and we set it up and we put the earphones in. And I'm telling you, Catherine, we're talking just like we are right now. And this man could hear, and the tears started streaming down his eyes. You know, and that is what's so fulfilling about this job, is when you see this. It's just such a blessing to be able to see
Absolutely.
this.
So was the pocket talker something he was able to loan for a while? And how long can you loan some of our assistive technology devices?
We loan them out for 3 weeks, but if they're not on a waiting list, if no one's on the waiting list to be able to take it out, then we extend that loan.
And what if the consumer does like it and it fits their need and it definitely has improved their quality of life? Is there anything we can do to help them secure their own so they can own
Absolutely, absolutely. We can help get the funding so that one can be purchased. You know, however, in this gentleman's particular circumstances, he does need to have hearing aids, and he does need to wear them at all times because his hearing is so significant.
And I see we don't have a pocket talker today.
No, we couldn't locate one because they're out on loan.
They're so popular.
They are.
And I'm so happy that between Maryland TAP and other resources, United Way providing money to our Assistive Technology office also,
Yes.
and lab, that we're in the process of purchasing some of the hot items such as the pocket talkers, so we're able to distribute more within our community.
Yes, absolutely.
So the Assistive Technology Lab that you're referring to, is anyone allowed to visit the lab and look at all the devices that are available?
Absolutely. We want you to come to our lab. Our lab has lots of computers where folks can come in and learn how to use the computer. We teach them how to use it if they don't know how to. And we teach how to do resumes if you want to go out and get a job so that you're prepared for that. And there's just all kinds of software available, you know, to teach you different things that's going to help you be independent out there.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you've incorporated Assistive Technology Lab along with a vocational program.
Yes.
So there's somebody at hand to help you vocationally be able to do a job search and put together an application?
Yes, and we have staff available that can assist with that. We usually get those referrals for vocational training through the Maryland Department of Rehabilitation Services. And when we receive those referrals, we jump right in and get them started.
That's wonderful. Being a center for independent living, there's 5 core services that we offer as a center. And the first one is information and referrals. So
Yes.
how does someone start the process of becoming involved with our center?
They can be referred. We receive many referrals from Peninsula Regional Medical Center, Priority Partners, hospice, other aging and disability resource centers, or just by stopping in to see us at our offices located off of Snow Hill Road near the Holly Center, or giving us a call.
Okay. And you're saying near the Holly Center. Are you referring to the MAC building?
Yes, we're located in the MAC building, yes.
Wonderful. Another core service I see that is offered is independent living skills, and it seems like it's a pretty broad topic. It goes everything from budgeting to accessing public transportation to even helping individuals seek more education.
Yes.
Could you explain budgeting? What kind of skills can you offer to someone who is struggling with financial literacy, and why is that important to someone being able to maintain their independence?
Well, it's important because some folks with disabilities who are not able to manage their monies have a representative that does manage their money, whether it be a friend or a family member. And what if something happens to that person? You know, what's going to happen? So if we teach those skills, understanding how much money you have coming in and how much has to go out for your needs, and we all know that you need to live in housing, that you need electricity, that you need running water. So we need to make sure that we can identify that, your needs versus your wants. So we teach that, make them understand that, so that they can prove that they know how to manage their money.
And do it on their own.
And do it on their own, absolutely.
I see that another core learning or service that is offered by CIL is peer support, and that's where Bay Area CIL offers opportunities for others with disabilities to come together and to forge new friendships and to support one another.
Yes.
What are some of the activities that Bay Area CIL currently provides for the community?
We do holiday dances, we have a bowling league, bocce ball, softball, and it's really a great opportunity for those folks to come together because they can learn more about one another or maybe help another person to be able to deal with their disability or to accept it rather. And maybe come together and brainstorm and come up with new ideas as to what other activities we can put together, you know, to help with that socialization because it's very important.
Are parents and other family members invited to attend these social events?
Absolutely, the more the merrier.
And does that benefit the families to be able to come together also, and for the caregivers?
Absolutely, because they can support one another. You know, they can talk about these things, or they can talk about their child who has a disability and maybe they're having a difficult time dealing with it, so another parent can offer that support.
And it sounds like there's some peer mentoring going on
Yes.
also. I do notice in the center that we do have volunteers that help us with the Family Resource Center that does provide so many activities for our community. And some begin being a participant, but I see them eventually becoming volunteers, long-term volunteers for our organization. Do any of our volunteers ever become fully employed by Bay Area CIL?
Yes, and they absolutely do, and we welcome them to join us because we are an equal opportunity employer.
What are the benefits for any business or organization to hire individuals with disabilities?
I believe that one of the benefits of a person with a disability becoming employed and working with non-disabled employers is an opportunity for them to get to know each other. You know, a lot of people don't understand what a person with a disability goes through, but by working with them and becoming to know that person, then you're better to understand maybe what they're going through.
It breaks down the walls.
It does. It breaks down the walls.
And it enriches everyone's life.
Absolutely.
Okay. Another core service offered by Center for Independent Living is advocacy and self-advocacy, where as a center, we advocate for individuals who have disabilities.
Yes.
But what about self-advocacy? Can you provide an example where you've seen a consumer learn to self-advocate for themselves and it be successful?
I had a consumer that I was working with who lived in a complex that was federally funded, and she was having difficulty getting in and out of her home. So she really needed a ramp. So she went to the office and she requested that modification because of her disability, and she was told to draw up the blueprints, let them know how much space it was going to take up, and to turn in all that information, who was going to build it and whatnot. And then they would fax it into the office for approval. And who's going to pay for it? And their reply was, you are. You know, so if you live in a federally funded building and you have a disability and you need a modification, then it's up to them to provide that modification. So I put her in touch with Baltimore Neighborhoods, Inc., which is located in Baltimore, and they service all counties in Maryland, and they help advocate for her to get that done through her story.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like you provide a wealth of resources
Yes.
for all of the consumers.
Yes, because sometimes there might be something that we're not able to help you with, but we can connect you with people who can.
And you made mention of ramps.
Yes.
With the ramps, you said that someone needs to live below the federal poverty line to qualify for a permanent ramp to be built, unless there's other extenuating circumstances. Do we have any portable ramps that might benefit any of our consumers, particularly if they don't fall below the federal poverty line?
Absolutely. We have portable ramps in storage. We have 10-foot, we have 12-foot. We even have 3-foot, which would help a person who may be from the threshold, there's a drop down to the decking or whatnot. You just slide that right up there and you're able to roll right on out. And we offer those loans for up to 3 months. And if no one's on the waiting list waiting for one and you need it longer, we will let it stay out longer.
Okay. What are the 2 most desired needs for an individual or one of our consumers? What are the 2 leading things you hear consumers say that they need in order to be able to live independently?
Hearing aids and ramps.
Now, why hearing aids?
Hearing aids, because most insurance companies do not cover the cost. And this is a big problem because it is needed for these folks to be able to communicate effectively with others. You know, you need to be able to go to the doctor and understand what the doctor is saying to you. So I feel like it should be covered under insurance, but unfortunately it's not, and we want to be able to help you if you need hearing aids.
Okay, wonderful. So someone would just contact Bay Area CIL, and they would be put in contact with you, and
Yes.
you would do a form of an assessment.
Yes.
If they are in need of a hearing aid, what would be the next step in order for them to be able to secure one, particularly if they don't have available funds to pay for one?
Okay, and that's just it. If you don't have available funds to pay for a hearing aid, then we ask that you get 2 estimates for the cost of those hearing aids. And we not only provide funding for those hearing aids, but we go to outside resources to get some of that funding. Because let's face it, hearing aids are anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. So we
Yes.
try to get all the help that we can get because we are nonprofit. So we just start that process and get the applications rolling, and before you know it.
Do the consumers have to pay a portion of the fee for a hearing aid or a ramp or any of the assistive technology devices?
We do ask that they pay something, and we understand, that a lot of folks have very low income, but we do ask that you pay something because that allows you to have ownership over what you're getting.
That's wonderful. Okay, so we're at the 5th core service that is provided by Centers for Independent Living, and that one, it looks like it involves 2 parts to it. It's transitioning, but it's transitioning for the youth, and it's also transitional services for those that are wanting to leave a rehabilitative or nursing facility.
Yes.
So can we begin with youth? When do youth need transitional services?
Well, if you have a youth who is coming out of high school, who is living with a disability, we want to help them to transition into adulthood. And there's independent living skills that are needed, to help them with that process. And we want to make it smooth as possible.
It sounds like financial literacy might come into play with that.
Yes.
In addition to maybe some vocational skills, soft vocational skills to help them secure a job. And
Absolutely.
what about housing? If they've turned 18, would you be able to assist in finding them housing?
We do work with the Maryland Department of Disabilities as far as putting folks on the waiting list. Unfortunately, we can't provide housing. I really wish we could because that's another big thing in this area and probably everywhere. But yeah, we put them on that waiting list, and hopefully something will become available, and we'll help them through the application process that's required by Maryland Department of Disabilities, and hopefully get them into housing.
I'm just thinking of any 18-year-old. It sounds like all 18-year-olds might benefit from the services that are offered, but also it's compounded if an 18-year-old does have a disability in trying to get started and gain their independence. So it's a wonderful service that you're offering. And then the other transitioning part for individuals that are transitioning out of a nursing or rehabilitative facility, is that for people of all ages?
Yes.
Okay, and what kind of services do you offer consumers and so they can do that?
We have a program called Money Follows the Person. And if there's a person with a disability who is in a nursing home and they just want to get out, they want to go home and live in their own surroundings, then we offer options counseling. And through the options counseling, it's determined, what they want, which is what independence is all about. What do you want? How do you want to live? And there we put them on the waiver, and the waiver gives them money to come out with that will help with housing, that will help get that ramp if you need one to get in and out of the home, and also to help provide for personal care services.
Okay, so it sounds like all the measures are put into place.
Yes.
So there's an easy transition from one facility to be able to go home.
Absolutely.
And of course, the goal is that you're able to go home and live independently.
That's exactly right.
That's wonderful. Just for a little recap for our audience, who may benefit from the services of a Center for Independent Living?
We help individuals with disabilities of all ages, all disabilities. And as you become older, you do go through a process where your body is not like it used to be. You develop arthritis, and your mobility is slowed down. So we want to be able to offer services to those folks as well, because that is a disability.
So how do you begin the process to be able to receive the services offered through Bay Area CIL?
You can give us a call at 443-260-0822. You can visit our website at www.bayareasil, which is CIL.org, or we're even on Facebook.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, we service all 9 counties of the Eastern Shore: Cecil, Kent, Queen Anne's, Talbot, Caroline, Dorchester, Wycomico, Somerset, and Worcester.
That's a large geographic region.
Yes, it is.
That's wonderful.
Yes, and we post the activities that we're doing. We have a calendar of activities that we post, so you can go on there and see what we're doing, and if you'd like to be involved, then give us a call.
And it sounds like the center has lots of different programs that are available to the community.
Yes.
Will the website talk a little bit or tell you a little bit about each program and who qualifies?
The website will, and actually there's even a resource page on our website, which is awesome. And it gives you all of our contact information, who to talk to as far as what program you want to enter into or talk about.
Dee, I can't begin to thank you enough for being with me today for this episode. And I also want to thank you for being a wonderful independent living specialist and being a leader in the community and advocating for those with disabilities.
Thank you, Catherine. I really enjoy it.
Thank you for watching Bay Area CIL's Community Focus, where every day is Independence Day. We hope you tune in for our next episode. And thank you once again for making us part of your day.